Hi everyone. It's a little idea I sort of had. I thought I'd just do a video for it. A film for each decade, a horror film for each decade. I'm going to show you some films I think every horror fan, should watch. Starting from like the 1910s. There's not many from the 1910s, granted, but I do have one film from 1911, which I'll to tell you a little bit about and that. But yeah. Doing a sort of a horror film for each decade. These are not my definitive favourites though. There's obviously too many films, especially like the 70s and 80s, to choose one favourite movie. So it's going to go through anyway. Starting with the ones from the 1910 era. So this one was actually from 1911, and it's one of the earliest versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I think there was. This is the DVD for here. Lost Silent Classics collection there. And there you go, it's the one there at the bottom, that one there, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 1911, directed by someone called Lucius Henderson, which was a strange name for horror up there, but yeah, this one, this can pick this up relatively cheaply, this at the minute, but yeah, 1911, bit of early history for you there. I'll put that in because that's the only one I've really got from this era, so that's why it's a bit of light there. So that's the one from the 1910s. One's from the 1920s now. Is only one film it can really be for me. Okay, a lot of people think Nosferatu was the best silent movie, but this is my favourite. The Golem. I don't know, just something about this film. It's just a tremendous silent movie. Just brilliant. So much atmosphere in it as well. I can't remember who directed it. I'm not sure if it tells you on there. No, I can't find it, doesn't tell you. But yeah, it's on for just about an hour, just over an hour. But this must have been way ahead of its time for 1920s. Some really decent sort of little special effects, especially towards the end when there's like casting all the magic and stuff. You see all like the sort of spirits and that flying around. I mean, the effects were brilliant. I love the atmosphere in it as well. And just the set design and everything, it's just such a great movie. So yeah, that's The Golem. So that's that one. 1930s, so many classics from the 30s. I mean, what could you choose? There's that many. There's Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Lugosi's Dracula. So many great movies from the 30s. I think that's really when horror started to kick off. But what I want to choose, it's one that I only really seen up to fairly recently. I never watched it before, and that's The Old Dark House, which is James Whale, who actually did the Frankenstein films. But this is a brilliant movie. It's quite blackly comic in parts as well, but such a brilliant atmosphere again. There's this guy, Boris Karloff there, plays like a butler, and he sort of gets violent when he's drunk and that, and there's a lot of quirky characters in it as well, for the time, and so I always loved that, the guy who was locked in the attic. There's like a guy who was locked away in the attic because he's too dangerous, and he gets released at the end, and he was just brilliant in that, so well worth checking out that one anyway. It's one from the 30s. The one from the 40s, it's an anthology that I only recently watched as well. I heard a lot about it and only just watched it. British one, Dead of Night. From the Ealing Studios made it, but that's really brilliant sort of really brilliant movie. There's a few scenes that are a bit tongue-in-cheek, especially one where there's like a couple of golfers and they do a bet. Whoever loses a game of golf has to kill themselves, and then the one who kills himself comes back and haunts the other one. And that one was very tongue-in-cheek, but some really creepy ones. And the scene with the dummy at the end, that was really creepy for the 40s. That must have caused a few people nightmares when he got released. But The Dead of Night, anyway, that's one from the 40s. From the 50s, a vastly underrated movie. Night of the Demon, or Curse of the Demon, is released in America. This version has got the two copies on. It's got the uncut Night of the Demon, and then it was released an edited version called Curse of the Demon, was released in the US. This has got both versions on it, but this is a brilliant sort of like a cult sort of movie. A brilliant film. I think I had this in my last update, or might have been the update before, but probably my favourite film from the 50s, that one there. This next one from the 60s. I'm going to go with quite a few good films from the 60s. Obviously, Psycho was done in 1960. But I'm actually going to go for an Amicus film, because I just loved this film when I was growing up. I loved it. It was always on TV. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. I think that's from 1964. Brilliant anthology movie there. He's one of my sort of personal favourite anthology films there. You know, so great cast in this one as well. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Roy Carroll. Brilliant film. Directed by Freddie Francis as well, who used to do a lot of Hammer films. So, you know you're in for a treat when you've got Freddie Francis involved. So, great movie there. 70s, there can only be one film for me. Dawn of the Dead. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Don't need to say anything about this. Everyone's got this, I think, in the collection. But it's probably one of my favourite films from the 70s. The 80s, one of my favourite films of all time. Fright Night, the first Fright Night. Great movie. I'm trying to get hold of Fright Night 2. It's quite expensive at the minute, but hopefully I'll pick that up soon. But yeah, Fright Night, that's probably one of my favourite movies from the 80s. When I did that 10-question tag race, I chose Fright Night. But yeah, it is hard to choose a favourite, but this is definitely in the top 10. Brilliant vampire film. Chris Sarandon was brilliant in it. You know, all the cast were great, brilliantly paced, great practical special effects. Loved it. Loved great movie that. One from the 90s, which I actually went to see at the cinema, and me and a friend went to see it. We were the only two people in the cinema watching it. I remember when it came out. Yeah, but Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, also known as Dead Alive in the US. Yeah, well, I went to this in the cinema, and there's only me and my friend watching it. Obviously, people couldn't stomach the gore or something, but it's a great movie, isn't it? Brilliant, so funny, a lot of really good belly laughs. You know, outrageously gory as well. Great storyline, brilliant film. One's from the 2000s now. I've got to go with one of the films that I think was probably one of the most intense films I've seen in a while, and that's Wreck. Brilliant movie, and the sequel is just as good as well. The Wreck 2 was brilliant, so as well. But yeah, I've gone for the first Wreck because that was one of the films where I first watched it. I didn't know what to expect. I'd heard a bit about it, and I just stood there, just jaws agape after it finished. It was like, what a movie, and it was certainly one of the best films done in the last sort of 15-20 years by far. Great movie. And in terms of recent films from the 2010 onwards, I've got to go for this movie, which really surprised me. A couple of people have been commenting on how good it was, like Namely Moods and Horror Fan Man, Demon's Rook. Brilliant independent movie. Some great gore, and it just makes a change from all the rehashes and remakes and Hollywood sort of Hollywood horror movies that keep coming out. This is proper horror. This is where it's at, and brilliant independent one. Buy this and support the independent movie, mate, because this is a really good film. The whole film is just practical effects. Some great sort of monster designs and things in it. Demon's Rook. I've got to get it. Check it out. So that's a little one in my sort of a film for each decade, as you say. Obviously not the definitive list. I could talk hours and hours to pick all my favourites, but yeah, I just thought I'd do something a little bit different for now. And if anyone agrees with me, anyone's had any other sort of movies of their own, in place of mine, just let me know what you think it would be. But I think I've got a pretty solid list there. So thanks for watching anyway. See you in another soon.